Hello, chat. First, what the hell kind of thumbnail is that? Don't bring my mother into this. Don't you fucking bring my mother into this. I wonder if you have your word order wrong. Don't you bring bleeping my mother into this? I'm not really sure. P person? I mean, that's better than Pointless Peterson or Fiasco Peterson for sure. You blue. All right, we're starting to wait. Pluto is fake. No, it isn't. That's also not a picture of Pluto. That is. Oh shit! What moon is that? I think that's one of Saturn's moons. Damn, which one is that? To the internet. All right, everybody, we're gonna try to find this person's PFP. Let's see here. It's either one of Saturn's or one of Jupiter's moons. Let's see here. I know I've seen that pic. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think it might actually be. Oh, wait. Is it Sharon? Oh, it's Sharon. That's what it is. Okay. Or Karen? Charon? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, Sharon. I don't know. I think I've heard that it's pronounced Sharon. Okay, so Pluto is fake, but you're using Pluto's moon as the to represent Pluto. That's not very cool. I want to show you guys something cool. Pluto, yeah. So pretty much all of the bigger moons in our solar system are tidally locked to their planet. It's not just let me close that blind. It's not just ours. So, you always see the same side of the moon. Why is that? Because it's tidally locked. So it spins once for every rotation around us. It does. That's true with all the planets. But Pluto is so small, and you can't make it out in this very well. I'll make this bigger. Pluto is so small, and Sharon is so big relative to it that they're actually tidally locked to each other. And what's really cool is the barycenter of Pluto is actually outside of Pluto. So imagine, I wonder if I can pause this. No, I cannot. So imagine that these are two masses. They're going to balance on a certain point. That's what a barycenter is. So I actually write about this in Facts That Aren't True, because I say the Earth orbits the sun is the untrue fact. It's not true they actually orbit each other, but and then it's the same case for the Earth and the moon. But Earth's barycenter, Earth is so much bigger than the moon that our barycenter is inside the planet. So Earth wobbles, but it doesn't really draw a circle. Whereas that is not the case for Pluto. Okay, well that is where the free education portion of this live stream ends. Hercules. No, you're welcome. You're welcome for that. The J-Pomp, I recognize the username. J-Pomp's here all the time. Yo, here for some pizza. And then somebody said that my CA. Yeah, I forgot to turn it off. And Kitty is in my lap. And everybody knows that you can't get up if a kitty is in your lap. You can't do it. So, no, Kitty, please don't leave. No, don't leave. No. This is your fault. My cat got up from my lap and I might never recover. Anyways, so it is the AMA. I should do these more often. I'll try to do them twice a month, but I need to be live streaming more often. I just got to figure out what it is I want to talk about. That's my pot pie. Yeah. Well, no, there's no pot pie. She just left. Uranus is so fat it has 28 moons. Got him. Yes, the moons of Uranus are like the butt pimples of the butt. I don't know. People swabble, but they don't fall down. These are facts. They do not do that. These are true. These are facts that are true, unlike facts that aren't true. Why did I get a notification for my own live stream on my phone? That doesn't make any sense. Pepperoni pizza is an abbreviation for Planet Peterson. I never thought about that. So that is why Pizza Lamp is awesome. Pizza Lamp. Pizza Lamp. Ooh, excuse me. I did have since I don't have any questions at the moment, I did actually get an email with some questions, and I responded to the email, but I'll just read them here for funsies. If the universe has expanded, did it come from a single point? So my response to that was that makes perfect logical sense, but what a physicist will tell you is that the universe is infinite, so trying to describe it as being any size just doesn't really make any sense. Um, so instead of saying a point, the universe was confined to a point, you could say a singularity. And we don't know if like true singularities or whatever are possible, but that word is also used in the sense that all the laws of physics we see today were united into one. This was Stephen Hawking's quest for a theory of everything, right? So we can say singularity, but you have to be very clear that that's what you mean, or be careful, I guess, that that's what you mean. They also said if you had a telescope and you were 65 million years away, could you look at Earth and see dinosaurs? So kind of, sort of, but practically not really, because the problem is that light expands. So for stars that are only a few light years away from us, like Proxima Centauri, that's the closest star other than the sun, but it just makes up an absolute tiny speck. I'm not sure. I wonder if I could figure this out. How many photons do the closest stars give us? I don't have a number. So this quick Google AI is telling me even at 10 light years, you could receive about 1 million photons per square centimeter per second. But what does that mean? A square centimeter of the sky or a square centimeter of your retina? I don't know. I'm not sure, but even for the closest stars, they really only give us a few photons. So the resolution, like even if you look at a star through a telescope, I don't know if any of you have done that, but they don't really look like much. When you look at just the empty night sky with a telescope, all you do is see more stars. You don't really see more detail because you're not collecting enough photons. So this has been looked at by people before. I've seen YouTube videos on it. I encourage you to go look one up because I don't remember. But they actually calculate what would the resolution, or sorry, what would the size of your telescope have to be to obtain a resolution of Earth where you can actually make out details. And I mean, I'm telling you, at 65 million light years away, it would probably have to be 65 million or more light years across your telescope would, in order to get any actual I wonder if it's in one of those What If books by Randall Munroe. I have both of his books both of his What If books, but I don't remember if it's actually in there. So that's the basic answer. And then the final question was, could you see the beginning of the universe? Since the farther away you look, the farther back in time you look. The problem with that is the universe is opaque to any electromagnetic radiation for many hundreds of thousands of years. But we can't even see up until that point. What we can see is many millions of years after that. And I don't 100% know why that is off the top of my head. But scientists do think they may be able to get gravitational wave data from before the universe became visible or whatever. Anyways, so that's a very, very long answer to those three questions. I did see Shubham Patil. Hopefully I said that kind of right. No, nice Jordan jacket. Please take my comment, bro. Well, I did. Did you have another comment before that? Has technology developed so much that humans cannot go extinct? Well, unfortunately, no, because human beings wield the power to make ourselves go extinct. Now, at some point, if we have the technology to upload our consciousness or something like that, then we could effectively never go extinct, at least like maybe in principle, in a way. But we are very much extinctable at the moment. Some people think we're getting kind of close, actually. So it's a good question. Unfortunately, it has quite a sad answer. What happens if you fart in the International Space Station? Yeah, well, this is a good question. I don't know. I assume the International Space Station has to have air circulation because things don't move around up there because there's no gravity. So the differences in density for things really don't matter very much. So I'm sure you guys have seen let's see. Maybe there will be a GIF of this. And yes, it is pronounced GIF. I will fight all of you and win. So maybe you guys have seen the wringing out a dishcloth in space. The water just sticks to it and it doesn't go anywhere. Or crying in space. He wasn't really crying, but he puts the water up against his face and it just doesn't go anywhere. So if you farted, would the air just stay right around you? I'm tempted to think it probably would, but I'm sure they have air circulation up there. Because think about it, if there's no like air current because the air's not being circulated and those density differences aren't creating any currents either, then if you just sat there and breathed, it would seem like it feels like it would almost be like breathing into a paper bag, right? Like the air right in front of your face would just gradually get less and less oxygen in it, but all you'd be doing is pumping that air. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I feel like that would probably happen. Someone has to eat it. That's what. Oh, never mind. I thought that was a response to the "What if you fart in the International Space Station?" question. Someone has to eat it because this comment was right under a super chat, but I didn't realize we got a second super chat. That's fucking hilarious. I just don't need to tell you you're wrong on whatever you said. I won the debate. Get wrecked, nerd. Son of a bitch. I actually can't argue against that. I actually can't. Confirmed astronauts are constantly tasting their farts. Yeah. Wow, I can't buy super chats? Question mark. I don't know why that would be. I have had. Oh God, this. See, I won. I won. As someone who has worked in the design graphics industry for 35 years, I class as a subject expert. It's GIF with a hard G. It's not. The guy that invented the word said that it's pronounced GIF. And people sit there and they argue about absolutely dominated. People argue, oh, it's an acronym and the G stands for graphics. SCUBA. SCUBA stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So if we were going to pronounce the letters the way the letters are pronounced in each word, then SCUBA would be pronounced SCUBA. Laser, light amplification by stimulation of emitting radiation, would be pronounced LASIR. But nobody does that, okay? It's pronounced GIF. Yeah, and he's dead, so look where that got him. Oh, man. I haven't got to use this joke yet. I have a few jokes that have been in my pocket for like a really long time, but I'm waiting to be in public sometime and somebody brings up like some famous figure or whatever, and then somebody says, "Oh, he's dead." And when that happens, I'm going to respond, "Still?" Because this is just me and my personal humor, but I really love saying things that make sense for a split second, but then make you go, "Wait, what? What do you mean still?" 100 men versus gorilla. Now you have to answer. Yeah, I do. I actually just kind of got distracted, but the Jish Gallop. Okay, let me put this back up. Jish Gallop. The 100 men are going to win. They're just going to overpower it. What's really funny about these debates, and this also goes to gorilla versus bear. A grizzly bear is absolutely going to destroy a gorilla every single time. What people do is they anthropomorphize the gorilla. If you guys have ever actually watched gorillas fight, they don't fight like a person. They randomly flail around. There's no planning in what they're going to do. They don't practice fighting. They just rely on brute strength. A group of people is going to be able to surround a gorilla and subdue it because they know what they're doing. Here, let's watch some gorilla fights. Why the hell not? Yeah, quite the fight. I forgot to finish my thought about the grizzly bear. A human with gorilla, well, let's just say it this way. A gorilla that had the cognition of a human, and so like knew what it was doing, could maybe 10% of the time get out of a fight with a grizzly bear as the victor, because they probably do have the strength and the dexterity to do it. It's just that they're so actually really bad at fighting. Whereas bears are actually really good wrestlers, and they have so vastly much more brute strength that the gorilla is just absolutely toast. Gorillas look tough, but they're vegetarian. Yeah, I mean they're not really fighting. Do they actually? Okay, they do get into it. I mean, there's really nothing to see. Whereas, did you guys see that grizzly bear fight footage that was captured fairly recently? I mean, they just absolutely tear into each other. It's crazy. So, I mean, there you go. You know, I'm not a gorilla, but you know, I'd beat off 100 men. I'd do it for free, actually. Consider it 99 versus a gorilla because I'm running away. Yeah, how do you convince the first guy to go in there? 100 Trump voters versus giant wet bag. What would win? Um hmm. Well, they would probably just start shooting it, right? So I feel like they would win probably. What about a cocaine gorilla? uh uh You guys don't know what I'm talking about? And I'll play the video.
Now, if they break into a fight and it gets too close to us, just back up. Okay? Leave the camera. Yeah, leave the camera. Just leave it. Dude, this is going to happen dangerously close to us.
Oh, the windmill at my dad's place? Thank you, Pinata. I mean, like, the amount of, like, fur and stuff that gets thrown up during this fight is actually insane. Oh, man, that's just... Oh, that's rough. And yeah, just gorillas, they don't do this. They just go... That's about it. Ah, damn, bro. He gave up. Just let go. Well, he didn't give up, but... Man, he still has got his back. Oh, that's actually painful. Oh, man, the ASMR.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm watching. I'm paying attention. I'm sorry, I didn't look out again. It's maybe the most awesome bear fight ever recorded. This is a gift from Mother Nature, man. Jesus. Jake, you're going to be world famous. Ever seen in like...
Oh, man, yeah, his back is so torn up. Ugh. Unless that's mud, but I don't think so. I haven't missed any super chats, right? Okay, no, I have not.
Longest one I've ever seen.
Thank God you've got 2 turns, Jake.
Man, they're so good at this.
Oh God, he's got him by the throat.
We've seen the Grizzly Man
He's
documentary. The guy gets eaten. I've never seen it, and there's no footage of it that I'm aware of. I've heard claims that there are. I've heard claims that the audio exists, but it's like not on camera. And I listened to what is claimed to be that, and it sounds really fake. Like it's just a guy yelling, "We're being eaten by bears." And I don't really buy it. I don't know. You missed my super chat earlier. Did I? That is not correct. I can see all of them and I didn't miss one. But if you asked a regular question, since you super chatted, you can ask it next and I'll see. How are more folks becoming more allergic to peanuts? Oh, well, paradoxically, it's because kids are being it's because we keep them out of the environment. It's very weird. There's been studies where they take kids that are known to have a genetic propensity toward developing an allergy toward peanuts, not a guarantee, but a propensity, kind of like heart disease and cancer and things like that. And what they do is they just have the kids when they're really little just taste like it's not peanut butter, it's like peanut powder. I don't know why they did it this way, but whatever. And they compared those two groups, and the one group where they were introduced to it were dramatically less likely to develop an allergy to it than the other group. So in the interest of trying to protect people from allergies, we're just making allergies a more of a problem. So
the winner will be declared now.
Yeah.
That just means that's like the most pissed they can get. But see, now he's been pinned down.
Yeah. There's no way.
So it's pretty much like the rules are like you're done. Like I won. Okay.
Who was that one you got, or the old one?
I don't even know.
Oh man, he bit his leg.
I think the old guy won. Holy shit, dude. God, the female's not even watching.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Could seasonal allergies be used as an argument against fine tuning? I mean, yeah. The fact that we suffer at all would be a perfect argument, but they'll just say, that chick ate an apple.
Goodness Christ.
Day two, everyone. Front of it, and then yeah.
All right,
It's
I just
over.
kind of want to see the aftermath. Ooh, he's got. Oh man, did you guys see all that blood that came out of his mouth? Right, yeah, right there. Well, maybe you can't.
This is happening. Yes. That's the edge. Surely that's the end. He's defeated.
Anyways, that oh man. Adam, you're right. I did not. So I looked up what cheese pizza meant, and from now on I'm adding pineapple to it. My God. Okay. I'm not gonna say what the cheese pizza initials are supposed to like represent or whatever, but I'm not really sure. What does adding pineapple do? CPP? Or you could add, is there a way to make it CCP? Chinese Communist Pizza? Cheese and cauliflower pizza? I don't know. Do you think it's okay to harm non-human animals if not necessary, for example, for things like entertainment or sensory pleasure? No, I wouldn't say for pleasure. I mean, then the question becomes like, okay, well, is horse racing that because they whip them? But I mean, those horses also enjoy a pretty amazing standard of living. So I don't know. Then it becomes kind of a little bit mushy. Are you going to keep doing Flurf debates? Or are you done after that last one? Well, unfortunately, depending on how you view it, I'm debating a flat earther this Friday on Modern Day Debates. I was asked if I wanted to debate let me pull it up. What's his name? Luigi Jesus or something like that. He recently debated Craig on where the hell is he? It's on here somewhere. Wait a minute. Streamed 1 month ago. Where the hell is it? Was it part of the... Maybe it was part of the 12-hour debate-a-thon stream. I don't know, but he goes by like Luigi Gospel or something. I don't remember. And I was asked if I wanted to debate secularism or Christianity with him. And I actually prepared a shitload for that. And then I got told, he doesn't want to debate anymore. So I was like, fucking great. And then I was asked if I want to debate that same topic with another person. And I said, sure. But he couldn't find anybody. So he said, well, what about a flat earth debate on Friday? And I just said, well, I guess I don't really want to, but I decided to do it because I don't think it'll hurt at all. But I don't know. I don't really want to do... Wait, is that... I don't want to do flat earth modern day debates. I'll happily talk to those idiots on my TikTok platform and upload them here, but I don't know. Do you think modern day debate is a Christian nationalism platform? What? No, I don't know if James is an atheist or not. I get the sense that he is not a Christian. I don't know. I don't know for certain. But no, I don't think it's a Christian nationalist platform. They platform people that... I don't know if a person like Wilson or Jim Bob would call themselves that. Maybe they do. But they platform them being debated, which is, if you don't like the idea, then debate them and win. And if our arguments against them suck, then that's an us problem, not a them problem. And we need to get better at that. So I don't really know. I definitely wouldn't say that they're a platform for that kind of thing. If I send a link of me singing Come Sail Away like Eric Hartman, will you watch it? Sure. James is a Christian. It definitely is. They platform some awful people. The news platforms Donald Trump. So I don't know. So the news, like MSNBC, is a Christian nationalist organization that doesn't really... I don't know. Balls in your court. Yeah. James is a good Christian boy. Okay, well, whatever. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Do 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 do. Should the news not platform the POTUS? No, they absolutely should. They should. The pizza light is off. Yeah, I know. We went over that earlier. Yeah, they absolutely should. They have to. It would actually be unethical not to. It's a good response. I'll rethink my position. No problem. What do you see for the future of this channel and your career in general, I don't know. Like I said, I really want to do more educational stuff, but and I tried launching a third channel, and I could not justify the time I was taking on it. I could just get to the point where I'm uploading twice a day on this channel. I get worried about, because I do upload a lot of the same crap, and I don't think it's crap, but it's the same crap. And I don't have that much of a problem with that. But I don't want to just be, the outrage machine thing, and that's why the algorithm is like friendly toward me or whatever. But I kind of lost my train of thought. If I could get to the point where I'm just doing 2 uploads a day on the main channel here. One is like just strictly educational content, and like there will be an entertaining aspect to it probably, because I just can't help myself but act like a dork. And then the either debate or react, a debate or react thing. I'm just worried that if I do that, then what that'll do is make subscribers see so much of this other content I'm putting out and be like, well, that's not really why I watch Planet Peterson. And then my channel gets less engagement. But it also has the potential to draw in a different audience. So it's a weird sort of thing. I like the channel the way it is. And I'll be honest, the goal for me is to get to get a regular like teaching job again, and I'll never stop doing this. I can do both. But that would take I mean that with a full-time job on top of it, I definitely wouldn't be able to start doing expanding into new things. So that would just kind of be, the channel would be just what it has been for a long time. But, if it's a couple years from now and all of a sudden I'm making like a crazy amount of money doing this, then I definitely am going to figure out how to expand, because then it would be worth it. I have a clips channel. A lot of you know that. It doesn't have a ton of subscribers. It has I don't know. Let me go look. It has 10% what my main channel does, I think. I have 3,789 subscribers there and 33,514 here. So it's got a little more than 10%. That's not a lot. When excuse me. But it is monetized, and it actually does really good numbers. So I can justify the time I spend on the clips channel. It's not a huge amount of time, and it's just recycling stuff. So I can justify that. But like trying to make like a standalone different kind of channel, my platform would have to be pretty big in order for me to know that once I start doing this, it's probably only going to result in, like, if I go like worst case scenario, only 5% of my subscribers go over there. Well, I'd have to be a pretty big channel for that to be a number that actually makes it something I can justify. So that's kind of my long answer to that. The main answer is I'm not really sure. I predict it'll be more of kind of the same for the next couple of years, probably. So it's wrong to harm horses and dogs for unnecessary sensory pleasure and entertainment. What about chickens, cows, and pigs? No, yeah, I don't think cockfights are a good thing. I don't know bullfighting for cows. Pigs, I don't really know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh man. Now I have to play catch up. I'm sorry I'm dumb. Won't let me send link. Does it not let you send links in chat? That does happen sometimes. Turn your books into a series, like a series of videos. Yeah, I mean, I could do something like that, but then nobody would have a reason to buy the book. Okay, I am caught up. How does genetics prove relation without question begging? Uh, yeah, this is sort of the tactic that Jim Bob uses because what he does is he glosses over the entire history of how the science came to be. Because before we knew anything about genetics, it was predicted that there would be a heritable molecule. And then slowly we discovered that there is one, and then we tested its properties and we found great. Now, even now you can claim, oh yeah, but they said there would be one and then there is one, but you're still just kind of question begging. Well, not really, because not all life on the planet would need to have the same hereditary molecule. If evolution weren't true, then there would be genetic relatedness within the genus, within the family, whatever, but not outside of that. Instead, it's universal and it fits the exact pattern that is predicted. So it is overwhelming supporting evidence for evolution. Every time I mention I'm too smart to be people always mention Newton. I'm also virgin and also invented calculus too. So checkmate. Hell yeah, Adam. Hell yeah. Although Newton like wasted his intellect on trying to find patterns in the Bible and all kinds of things like that. But also, I mean, in Newton's time we were vastly more ignorant. Almost everybody was religious. So, of course, the smartest person in that time period would be religious because everybody was. But now that we're less ignorant, fewer people are. So, it's not the slam dunk that they think it is. If I want to do more live interactions like you do, is the key first getting established on TikTok? I've never seen a great transfer from TikTok to YouTube for me personally. My TikTok platform is fucking huge. I have 350,000 followers. But those followers on TikTok are very fake because you would think that if I have 350,000 followers on TikTok, every video I post should get 6K views or sorry, over 100,000 views. I was thinking like six figure views is what I was thinking, but that doesn't, nobody talks that way about views. You would think that, but it's not at all the case. My average video gets like 5 to 15,000. It's very because TikTok numbers are very fake. Like I said, because TikTok is not built on any kind of like brand loyalty or for the most part. There are some creators that have very loyal audiences, but for the most part, TikTok is just a platform where you go like this. I'm gonna like that. And then you just go back to doom scrolling. YouTube is something that people are invested in. TikTok is something that people just do. So, I would definitely experiment with it. What you could do is you could just dual live stream. There are lots of creators that do that, and it works really well. My PC just can't keep up. I'll have to get a new one, which is why I should be doing more live streams because it's going to cost about $2,000 fucking dollars, but whatever. But you could simulcast them. You can stream TikTok to YouTube and do both of them at the same time. And that's just more eyeballs or whatever. Or, you know, I mean, you can do what I do and like the live. I guess it depends on what your goals are. My formula has worked extraordinarily well for me. I talk to people on TikTok and then I recycle those conversations piece by piece over here to YouTube. So I'm not doing two different things. That's worked for me very, very well. But in that sense, the only reason you're on TikTok is to generate, like, in this case, wealth or whatever for yourself on YouTube. Because I make dick on TikTok basically anymore. So I don't know. It depends on all those things. Man, I spent forever on that. It's a good question though. Do you think we're seeing people use precept like rhetoric more over time? Is it escaping containment? I have felt for a little while now that I think the answer is yes. And I think the reason it's happening is because everything, like, serious people have nullified all of the other arguments they've ever they've used before. It's been rendered just silly. Like, you can go watch, I was rewatching portions of that really famous Sam Harris debate where he's debating a rabbi and a couple of other people. And when even for our side, when I watch that today, I think, yeah, I mean, Sam, he's not really getting too deep into it, but he is making some good points. I don't think it wasn't that debate. It was a debate he did with William Lane Craig. And this is like almost 20 years ago. But, Sam Harris says, if somebody says a few Latin words over their pancakes and seriously thinks that those pancakes have now become the body of Elvis Presley, then this person is mentally ill. But if you say it to some crackers and say it's Jesus, well, you're just in a religion. There's no social penalty for being the exact same kind of crazy we see in religion in these other edge cases or whatever. And that's actually a very powerful and a very good sense. But if you tried that today, the apologists would just be like, oh, you're just making fun of us and you're just being uncharitable and blah, blah, blah. But also, you don't have the ontological primacy to even be able to make arguments, blah, blah, blah. So I think they've been shown how silly they are, like the evolution deniers, like the flat earthers, and whatever else. And now they just resort to idiocy. Like, well, if you don't use my worldview, then whatever you have to say just is false because you can't know anything anyways. Or you can't use the sky to prove the shape of the ground. Or when they said a few years ago that you could do that, they're the ones that said 24-hour sun in Antarctica would prove the earth isn't flat. And all the other stuff. So I think it might actually become the default unless people are wise enough to see that actually it is incredibly stupid. And so then they're just going to stop talking to us. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess, or if they're born head first, then they wore their mother briefly as a pair of shoes, right? Or a pair of socks. Ugh. I'll address this because Bridge, you did super chat a question before, and this is added to that. So getting large enough to go live on TikTok is the key. Yeah, they actually made the entry point for that really low now. You can do live streams with a fairly low subscriber amount or follower amount on TikTok. Oh, jeez. All right, Chip. And that picture looks like 3 different people I know all morphed into one. That's actually crazy. Any chance you will do any political debates? You did that one semi-political and it was entertaining. I've talked about this a little bit before. And here's my thing with this. This actually probably would be the next extension of what I do, perhaps, even before just general educational stuff, because I know that this would do good numbers. The problem is I listen to the news every single day, not mainstream media. I fucking hate those idiots. And the more I've listened to it, and the more I have witnessed that the news cycle just shifts at an unbelievable rate, the more I've realized I would have to spend multiple hours a day dedicated to this, and it would just be like collecting information. Just like the Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I think that's his name. I hope I got that right. That case alone, there are so many fucking things that people just use as talking points that are fallacious, but you don't know what to say in response to them. Without trying to make this too complicated, my problem with the political discourse right now is there's so much garbage, and you kind of just have to say nuh-uh to so much of it, and that's not good enough. And it's the whole thing, like, it takes exponentially more work to disprove bullshit than it does to say bullshit. It's that kind of thing. But there's also the other thing is, like, you know, like with the tariffs, I would have to educate myself so much on so many like economic ideas to be able to tell you specifically why these are so terrible. There are just some basic things I can say, like the fact that it simply is a tax that gets dished onto the consumer, but that gets gish galloped and hand waved away by people, or they just make something else up. Um, and so you have to know so much. And I do want to start doing this kind of thing, but I've actually thought about it multiple times. There have been so many things that have happened recently where I've just said, you know what, that's it. I'm just going to create a Google slide, and it's just going to have these categories, like one category for corruption, one category for, you know, lies, one category for whatever. And then I'll just document stuff, but there would just be so much of it. So maybe I kind of want to, it's just sort of, it's like looking at a mountain and being like, I do want to climb that. I just don't know how to start. Hercules, search Hercules, come sail away. Eric Cartman on YouTube's second or third. Oh, so this is that. Okay. Hercules, come sail away. Eric Cartman.
I'm sailing away, setting up in course for the virgin sea, 'cause I've got to be free, free to face the life that's ahead of me.
Are we doing the whole thing?
I'm wearing a naked, so can we burn? We search for tomorrow on the every suburban train, a leg train.
Okay, I think that's all we'll do, but that was it's a really good impersonation. I can tell it's not like it, how do I say this? I can tell it's not the original because it's different enough. Not even in the way it sounds. The way it sounds is actually perfect. It's just kind of the way it's delivered. Can genetics prove all humans are related? Yes, and it has done that. Oh man. Do not read the God damn it. Oh man, that's covering up so much of me. Are you uncomfortable discussing this? I can stop if so. If it's wrong to harm animals for unnecessary pleasure, then it's wrong to support animal products if you have a viable option not to. I mean, if it can be ethically sourced, then this doesn't seem to exactly be a veganism argument. It seems to be more like an argument against like leather and things like that. But I think there's a way you can ethically do that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, my thing with veganism or whatever is that animals don't have rights unless we declare that they have rights, because they don't have the ability to, and we don't have rights either. It's just that we have the capacity to come together and defend our claim of rights, and they can't do that. So it just literally becomes nothing but what do you call it? The philosophical emotivism or whatever, or moral emotivism, the boo hurrah or the yuck yay sort of thing. What's your view on abortion? Would you debate it? I don't really care to debate the abortion issue. I have a video about abortion. I have like 2 of them, I think, kind of on my channel. My general take is, people call this evictionism, I guess, whatever. Nobody has the right to use another person's body. Terminating a pregnancy is not murder because, well, people say like the ending of a life, whatever. Like, how do I want to say this? People say it's always wrong to take an innocent person's life. Well, that's just not the case, and I think abortion is one of those cases. And an analogy I use for that is if you were rock climbing and a person tethered to you started like having a seizure or something, and so they let go and you're going to die because your equipment's going to fail unless you cut the rope. I think it's morally permissible to do that. I wouldn't exactly say that it's good to do that. I would simply say that you have the right to do it. I don't think it's wrong though either. I think it's morally permissible. And I don't get it. I don't read about, study, or whatever moral ethics. So I don't know if there's like this weird thing where like there's no such thing as neutrality. It's either good or bad or whatever. I don't care. But I think that in the first trimester, I don't see any grounds for any sort of restriction. Now, after the fetus can start to have a subjective experience of pain, then I think there have to be, you can't just, I don't think for convenience sake is a justifiable reason. Now, there are obviously extenuating circumstances. Somebody can not know that late that they are, which is quite odd. Somebody can be a victim of something horrendous and because of some sort of legal battle or because they were afraid for their lives of retaliation or something like that, then I can find it to be morally permissible. Obviously, for the life of the mother, I can understand that these things are done later on, but I don't want to argue or talk about it like forever because I would just be talking to myself. And I've laid these out before, but that's essentially my position kind of in a nutshell. I would say abortion is justified taking of a life, which is why I would call it murder. Would you be down to debate? Wait, what? I would say abortion is, unjustified taking of a life, which is why I would call it murder. Would you be down to debate it? I mean, I'm not going to say no. But this would probably be more of a conversation about what we mean by the terms. Rather than like a debate, so to speak. I didn't. No, I haven't missed anything else. What's the best way? Just DM me on Discord. If you don't have Discord, then just email me. My email is planetpetersonscience@gmail.com. I don't know if I spelled that right, but it's planetpetersonscience@gmail.com. No uterus, no opinion. I'll identify as a woman for the purposes of the debate. Abortion is good, bad debate. See, that wouldn't even work because I don't think somebody who gets sex, if somebody said, I have sex with the intention of getting pregnant, with the intention of getting an abortion, that's bad. So it would be more like, can abortion be morally permissible? That's what I would say. Optimus Rhymes. I haven't heard from Optimus Rhymes in a minute. So what's up with the pizza thing on the shelf? There's nothing up with it. It's just not turned on. My live light isn't on. Pizza lamp is not on, and lava lamp is not on. I have Discord. What's your name there? It's Planet Peterson. I should be easy to find. For this live stream, there won't be, but for all my uploads, there's links to my Discord server in there. You don't have to join the server, although that would be where we have the debate. You don't have to join the server, but well, actually, maybe kind of would have to, but you can get in contact with me. At least that's a start. When is abortion morally permissible? Well, I mean, one side might say never, so then it would just come back to, is it? And then, I don't know. I'll join the server and set it up there. Cool beans, yo. What? Planet Peterson is John Podesta's son. I have all the evidence in meme form. That's the kind of evidence that I want. Is John Podesta? No, he's not black, but what is his ethnicity? He's got kind of a, I don't know. No, I'm not really a fan of John Podesta. I didn't mean for that to be my question. I meant that as a clear debate title. Oh, well, send your question and it doesn't have to be a super chat since you already super chatted. It's always morally permissible if it's the woman's decision. No, I don't think. I mean, I said this earlier. Maybe you just joined. I can't imagine somebody agreeing with the hypothetical of a woman says, I have sex with the intention of getting pregnant, with the intention of getting an abortion at 39 weeks. I just can't imagine why anybody would think that that's okay. What was the most infuriating part of his interview? I didn't watch it, but if that's the interview where he said the photoshopped MS-13 wasn't photoshopped, then that's the only part of it I've seen. So that would be obviously the most infuriating. It's still her choice. Oh, jeez. I eat pigs and cows, and I think it's definitely immoral, but not bad enough for me to stop doing it. Is it reasonable to think I'm a good person? This is what people say about veganism all the time. People say, I wish I could be a vegan. I just don't have the willpower for it or whatever. I don't know. I kind of already gave my stance on it earlier. I was just saying that when is abortion murder would be good if you were to engage in that. Yeah, and that's fine, but I think just simply is would probably be better, because if somebody, again, if their point or if their position is that it never is, then what the hell is the point of debating when is? So because then you're just not debating that topic. You're just debating, well, okay, you say never. Why are you saying never? So now we're which is the best word? Hey, wait, that's not a super chat. The Jurassic with the G. Oh man. I loved the third one so much, and it's because I watched it. I mean, I watched the first two before I watched the third one, and the third one gets a pretty bad rap. But I think it's really good. I would say I think the first one's my favorite. I actually thought that Jurassic World, the first one, was actually pretty decent. So I would go Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Park 2, and then Fallen Kingdom was actually not very good, but holy fucking shit, Dominion was one of the 5 worst movies probably ever made. I don't know what a PLN is, but thank you very much. You always struggle to give an example of mutation creating new genetic information. Single deletion, additional change to the following triplets, which result in completely different new protein. You're welcome. I mean, what I generally do with this is I sort of skip over the most obvious examples, like what you're giving, because I've done this so many times that I just know that they'll move the goalpost. So what I do is I try to get in front of what they're trying to argue. So I say spontaneous duplications and mutations to duplicated parts is changing the information. That's basically where I always go with those. You're absolutely right. A Polish zloty? That's what they call their currency. Oh man, guys, I learned something really funny yesterday. A video game boss, the way you say that in Swedish is slut monster. Those who say science is a religion, my response is, so you admit religion is a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, like, that's what Kent Hovind does. He uses religion in the pejorative sense. But other people just use it for the most part. When you hear that, they're trying to just do a tu quoque fallacy. They're trying to accuse you sort of being a hypocrite. Actually, I have a really funny video for you guys tomorrow, like an hour-long video. The best part of the video is actually the last 10 minutes. So sorry about that. But yeah, it starts off with this guy. What's actually part of the whole video. This dude is defining what a religion is in these very weird terms, where basically anything is a religion. So it's like, well, fine, but that's not what anybody else thinks. Farquad, thank you. How can I better help my friend accept science and reject science denial? Raw facts and information got denied by his webs of right-wing conspiracy. Well, I'd have to know more about what you mean. I mean, if this is like chemtrails shit and stuff like that, then I don't really know. Because when you say right-wing conspiracy, that's more like what it sounds like. I don't know. I guess these people do so much confirmation bias. They just look for whatever would like fits the narrative. What I would say is maybe try to work with them and be like, okay, let's consider both options and let's think about what the evidence supporting each side would be, and then see if we can find either of those things. Because a lot of times what you find with conspiratorial thinking is a lot of it's predicated on just huge amounts of it are predicated on arguments from ignorance. Oh, what's that? I don't know. Oh, well, that's because it's like I don't know. Like I'm going back to chemtrails now, and I'm saying like every 5 seconds. But you see chemtrails, and then people. There's this really hilarious interview of Prince, and he goes, "Yeah, I would see the chemtrails in the sky, and then everybody in my neighborhood would start fighting after that." That's just an argument from ignorance, in the form of a very weird, spurious correlation. So what you could maybe do is just invent your own conspiracy, and then you can see how your conspiracy fits perfectly well with the data too, to prove that the data or whatever isn't pointing to anything. You haven't seen Honest Jurassic Park rap? The rap? No. Oh wait, you haven't seen Honest Trailers Jurassic Park. Okay, I don't know if you mean there's a rap song for it or not. I do see those YouTube videos pop up, Honest Trailers. I've never watched one of them before, I don't think. Except maybe one of the for the newer Star Wars movies ones. Steve from Wormhaven. That's cool. Is Wormhaven? That sounds like it's a place in the UK. Nope, this is telling me it's some sort of music label. Oh no, they're an artist. But it sounds like a place. Wormhaven. Wormhaven and Morrowind Nexus? If I just type in Wormhaven and go to Google Maps, what happens? Nothing happens. Okay, well, whatever. In a quantum eraser setup, if the single photon was sent through one or both slits like normal, but the idler photon was sent into a black hole, do you think there would be a chance to not see an interference pattern? Ah, fuck, dude. I have no idea. I have no idea. You got to ask Dr. Blitz this question, I guess. Well, ChatGPT could actually probably give you an answer that's pretty close to the truth on it. What I will say is what my intuition would tell me on this, and don't take my intuition for that much, but the quantum eraser thing is where the photon gets split. And so that gets misinterpreted. There's two detectors, and what people think is happening isn't what's happening. What's happening on both those screens is each screen is one half of the interference pattern. Because when you overlap them back on top of each other, you can see that it forms that wave function. So intuitively, and again, without really understanding this very well, I would think that if you ran the other photon just into a black hole, you would just still get the other half of that interference pattern. But I'm not totally sure. Sorry. Oh, somebody sent me something on Discord. Let me take a look. Okay, I'll put that on my to watch later. Okay. How long? Hour and 15. I usually do these for 90 minutes. So, and I think that's what we'll do today. Probably we'll do a 90 minutes, but It's my band name, but that's not important. Just curious. It seems like it could confirm if information is destroyed beyond something like the event horizon. Yeah, but so if that's what you mean, then I'm pretty sure that you're basing this on the misinterpretation of the delayed choice quantum eraser, because what people think is happening is one photon strikes the plate, and then that changes what happened in the past to the other plate, because these events happen at different time intervals, and that's based on not an improper understanding of what you're actually seeing on those two screens, which is that it's a separation of the wave function. It's not instead of something else. What's her name? Sabine Hassenfelder has a really good video on demystifying the delayed choice quantum eraser. No super chats. I don't know what you're referring to, because you didn't ask a question earlier. And I was responding to this because it was an extension of this question. I'm not sure. Can you spell that name? Not exactly. That's my best guess. It's a very unique name. So just type it in and it'll correct you. I guess I'm a tired little boy. Man, I commented on Light Before the Tunnels video, and he wrote like a fucking he wrote 2 thesis statements in response, and they were both really stupid. Oh, he did respond to my most recent. He just doesn't understand anything. Whatever. I don't care. The dude is just crazy. Oh, we only got 10 minutes. Fuck it. I'll just take general questions. If you could inhabit the body of anyone for a day, whose body would you inhabit? Me when I was 22, because that was the absolute peak of my physical condition. And I want to remember what that was like. I used to have nearly a 40-inch vertical, and I could run like an absolute demon. I was never very strong, but I want to remember what that was like. Wilt Chamberlain? No. It would be interesting to be really tall, but The answer is yes. Humans eventually crabs. I love the purposeful bad grammar of this because that's part of the meme. Will humans eventually crab? Yeah. The carapacization. There actually is a term for it, but I don't remember what it is. But yeah, it's funny. Will humans do it? Probably not. Do you like pimple popping videos? I actually do. What's the most off the wall niche conspiracy you've come across? Maybe Hollow Earth. Because it's just so freaking stupid. But in terms of like, I don't know, that's not really off the wall though. Honestly, it almost sounds like a vanilla answer, but the 2020 election denialism stuff, that might be my answer because it required you to believe that the Chinese Communist Party was working with the fucking ghost of Che Guevara, a guy who was dead, and that they were using the internet to infiltrate voting machines that aren't connected to the internet. I mean, that's pretty off the wall. What's my opinion about science channels that proclaim the truth and authority of the Bible? I'm not aware of any that do that. Why don't, because you said don't. Why don't some people believe in God and others do? I don't know. Why are people convinced or unconvinced of evidence or arguments that are brought forth before them? Because they just are or aren't. I don't know if it's any deeper than that. I don't have any allergies. True. Oh man, I'm yawning. Stevie Ray Vaughan or Hendrix? Oh man, this is pretty wild because, Stevie Ray Vaughan was a Hendrix ripoff, but I would say he was more talented than Jimi Hendrix. So it's pretty weird. Like talent-wise, Stevie Ray Vaughan was probably one of the 10 most talented guitarists ever. But in the pantheon of like greatness or whatever, it's always Jimi Hendrix. What mammal takes over after humans? It might be rats, and that would be our fault because we're the ones that put them everywhere. What mammal takes over? Man, yeah, I'm really tempted to say mice and rats. We've also, I mean, there have been species of canine everywhere, but we've introduced so many domesticated dog species that could just, if they were just left to nature, a lot of them would die out, but a lot of them would find ways to be successful and their physiology would change. And so he was more coked up than Jimmy. It's a question about, is it okay to educate people about science and insert God in it? I think it is permissible. And I don't necessarily think that a science educational platform should tell people that religion is false, but the most popular competing ideas are religious, and I think it's perfectly permissible to discuss how we know that those claims are false. Domesticated cats. Yeah, I mean, they could, I don't know, domesticated cats could really, well, they do really fuck shit up. Yeah, that's a good question. Cats have already taken over humans. Yeah, but without internet meme culture, cats lose kind of their purpose in the world. So now the cats need us, rats don't. Saying truth and authority plus it's false equals does not compute. I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense. Brute facts within our universe. It exists. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Examples of brute facts. So, I mean, there would be that other brute facts. There are actually a gazillion brute facts, but they're like analytical truths, which is like true by definition. The sky is blue is a brute fact. Water is wet. Now for the sky being blue, I don't know, that's not all that great of a brute fact because there actually is an explanation for why it is. But I don't know, once you dig down to that, why do wavelengths of blank look blue? That now all of a sudden there is really nothing there. I don't know. Fundamental particles exist. That's kind of that's as best as we can understand a brute fact. Water is not wet? Yes, it is. A single molecule of water in a vacuum isn't wet, but anything more than that and it is wet. The laws of nature. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that earlier, and I guess I kind of got a little bit distracted. But yeah, those can be taken as brute facts. They don't have any underlying cause behind them. I would start with goodbye. Kirk or Picard. I've never watched a single minute of a single episode or a single movie of Star Trek, so I have like no opinion. All right, one more, and then I'm out of here. Are there some new colors out there that we can't see? Well, this might actually be impossible to answer. I'm tempted to say that the color spectrum is all of the colors that exist. It's just whether or not you have the resolution to make out finer details between them. I feel like maybe that's the only missing information. Although I don't know if you guys ever heard about this new color Olo that's apparently is out there. I haven't looked into it at all, but whatever. Now there are animals like the 11 is pointing out here that can see in the ultraviolet spectrum. But I'm tempted to think that they're just seeing a wider bandwidth of like, because visible light, I mean, to say that, I don't know. I'm tempted to think that the color spectrum as we see it, well, no, that doesn't make any, you know what? That actually doesn't make any sense, because what I was thinking is being able to see more would really only mean you're able to flesh out more differences. But I think if we extend that, then what I would be saying is, well, if you can see more of the spectrum, then all you're doing is stretching out what the spectrum is. But if you keep stretching it, then eventually what happens is you stretch the green into what was previously blue. And I don't think that can possibly work. So, I guess, yeah, and insects can see UV, but we have no idea what UV looks like. Maybe it's all just black and white. That would be really interesting. But yeah, I guess this just can't be known, I suppose. Or maybe it would be the case that if you can, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can go back to what I was saying earlier. Maybe the color spectrum really actually is all the colors that can be seen. And yes, it does get stretched out, because if you can see a wavelength that is previously invisible, then I think the idea of shifting green to the point where it overlaps with blue actually is fine, because if blue can look, if nothing can start to look like a color, then blue can start to look like green. Actually, maybe there's no problem with that. But I think this is actually literally unknowable. I think it's the what is it like to be a bat problem. So do. I heard from Grayson that some women are evolving to see more color. I don't know about that. Women have better visual acuity on average than men. That's always been the case. And we don't really know why. There's some ideas about it, but I don't know. We already have blue greens. I mean, yeah, but whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you, everybody. It was fun. I had fun, at least. And I hope you did too. And maybe you learned a couple things. And it's pronounced GIF. See ya.